I'm here at the Marion Theater. We had hoped to have this to be a full theater, but obviously with our 2020 restrictions, that's not a possibility anymore. We have a few people here, all socially distanced and wearing their mask, and they've told me I can take off my mask for when I'm standing here by myself. I want to welcome you to our Centennial Kickoff. I'm happy to note that I was able to get my suit on. I guess it was smart to put my COVID-19 on before COVID started. So we're going to have a great day today and talk about a little bit of history of the college and plan for the coming year. We're not going to let the pandemic stop us from recognizing 100 years of changing the odds here in northern Santa Barbara County. And I'll start by, hopefully you saw yesterday's newspaper, either in person or online. This was a great story about our 100th year here on the coast and all of the great things that have happened since we started out as Santa Maria Junior College on the campus of Santa Maria High School. This morning we'll be introducing some guests and some faces you'll know, hopefully some faces you'll remember. I know there's a lot of excitement out there. I've heard from several former faculty and staff members who called me this week or emailed me this week talking about the time capsule we're going to open. So while you're watching on YouTube, there's a comment section. John Hooton's monitoring that. If you have some questions for our panelists and guests or even some favorite remembrances, share those there in the chat on YouTube. But as we get started, I want to bring out our good friend Spike. I saw him around campus today, and we're going to show a little video of what he's been up to over the last several weeks. What do you got there? Oh, it's the time capsule. Don't open until the Centennial. You got it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. See you later, Spike. All right. So since it's 2020, we've got to pull out our Allen Hancock College ASBG hand sanitizer. Take a look at what we got in here. Let's start out with this great picture of Ann Foxworthy, and that is also Walt Rosebrook, who was a trustee at the time and our student body president, Daryl Christensen. So with that, we're going to ask Ann to come out and talk. Everybody can see this on the screen, right? So let's welcome Ann Foxworthy Lewellen to the stage. Good to see you, Ann.
So nice to see you, Kevin, and let me unveil myself. Sign of the times.
25 years ago.
25 years ago. I had just been at the college as the president, arrived just a couple years before that 75th anniversary. So I can't tell you, when I drove around here this morning, coming in, I just took a long way around, the transformation. Would you like to hear my impression of the college when I came?
Absolutely.
Well, looking at the campus, it looked old, and I hate to say it, but ugly. And so I thought, something has got to change here. Most important is that it didn't function well for the students either. It was inadequate. So if you can imagine, there were still 1930s aeronautics college buildings. There were World War II temporary buildings. And the campus that was built when they made this the community college, well, that looked like an old 50s elementary school. Building C was the only new building on campus that had been built probably since the 60s. So that seemed to me, as the new president, a challenge. And there had another impression, and it was the community perception of this college. And the perception was that Allen Hancock College was more a vocational college than a transfer institution. If you were planning to transfer to a university, you would go to that college, I won't name it, to the north or to the south. Well, it was an inaccurate perception, obviously, because we had a wonderful transfer program. So, when we conceived the 75th anniversary celebration, we had something in mind. It wasn't just to say, hey, we've been here 75 years. That wasn't the point. The point was we wanted the community to know how important this college was, the role it played for the citizens in the college district. And they were multiple and important, and they should know that. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to tell the world. We wanted to tell specifically our district, this college is important. And part of this was related to the fact that when I came, the board charged me with certain goals that they would like me to achieve. And one was they wanted a community involvement in the foundation. We had a foundation that raised money for scholarships. But that was really one woman, Agnes Grogan, who handled all of that and was so successful. But we wanted something more. We wanted real support. So what we did, so let's celebrate, make the community and love us and value us, and tell them that we need their support. We can't transform these buildings. We can't accomplish what needs to be done without that support. So that's how the foundation came on. Walt Rosebrock in the photo, he was a board member, but he was very supportive on the Allen Hancock College Foundation. He was he had been the editor of the Santa Maria Times, a wonderful man, very intelligent. And I remember when we formed this board with community members, our first fundraising campaign, $90,000. We thought that was an astronomically high amount of money to ask the community. They didn't have any tradition of donating to the college. A few people did that, but and the board, I know they go, oh my gosh, I don't think we can do this. Well, they did it just as fast as could be. They accomplished it, And then we went on from there, and I think we'll be hearing about other fundraising types of activities that have gone on since 1975 that have been community supported, and that's the important thing. The transition of this campus had to be accomplished with the input of the community.
Yeah. So back then, so today we're serving about 20,000 students a year. Would you have ever imagined in 1995 there'd be 20,000 students walking around this campus?
Now, that sounds like about as big as when I was at UC Berkeley, how they were like, I thought that was an astronomically large number.
So that's amazing. So what are some of the best memories you have of your time being here? You were here 15 years? 10 years. 13 years.
13 years,
13
okay. Years. Well, of course, when I came, there was no tongue-tied. Don't want to make that mistake. No Lompoc Valley Center. So that was a major accomplishment. I'm really proud of. The other thing was the $90,000 fundraising was to put computers on in faculty offices. Faculty didn't have computers. Can you imagine if this pandemic had happened and back in 1995 or so? How would they have taught? You would have had to close down because when you say, what was the technology like on campus? What technology?
And telephones, right?
That's about it. That's about it. Honest to God. That's the way it was. And so it was a way to introduce technology to the campus and involve and tell the community, this is what we need. And so I think, and every year it cost more and more money, and we would obtain grants, and you had to cable between buildings that's an unbelievable difference, and so it's fun to have been part of that. And also, I think we really strengthened our transfer program and created a transfer center and developed all of those transfer agreements with universities and let people know this is a transfer institution and has wonderful vocational programs.
Well, Ann, we can't be more proud to call you an alumni of our faculty and administration. You're a great president. It's been 15 years since you were officially the president, and hardly a week goes by that we don't talk about something that was Dr. Foxworthy's vision, and the amount that you and your family and Royce have supported this college. And standing here at the Marion Theater, this wouldn't have happened without your vision. We're so happy that you could come and join us and be part of celebrating 100 years, and we look forward to hanging out with you throughout the year and having some more reminiscences about that.
It was my privilege, and I'm so proud to have been the president of Allen Hancock College, and so proud of the staff, the faculty, everyone involved, that it has strengthened every year. And that's what's important to celebrate at an anniversary, that you're better than ever, and you're doing more than you ever did.
Are we allowed to be a little lighthearted? Because, I've known you for 8 years, and your hair's been essentially the same. Now, I understand when you were here, that wasn't always the case.
Well, I'm sorry you showed that photo. I know. I think about all the great accomplishments at this college, and one of them was I changed my hairstyle. But the other, I haven't cut my hair in over 6 months, so who knows? If we don't get over this pandemic pretty soon, it may be down to my waist.
It looks great. Well, thanks for coming, Ann, and we'll have you back out in a minute to answer some questions.
Thank you for inviting me.
So next in our bag here, we have an agenda from the Associated Student Body Government from their awards banquet. And we'll show that. And we'll bring out Daryl Christensen, who was the student body president in 1995, to talk about that. And I think we have that on the screen. And we also have some additional icons that he wanted to share from the time capsule. Law Enforcement Academy and Fire Academy patches from the 1990s, and then a speech that you gave in 1995 when we buried this time capsule. Do you remember a part of that speech?
I was really kind of surprised. My writing style's the same. My penmanship's the same. I haven't changed in 25 years. I hope to God that I'm not the cause of Dr. Foxworthy's premature grave. Yeah, first came here. I've been to Hancock College twice. The first stop was in the mid-'80s where I attended the police academy and then went down south to work. Then I found myself back again about a decade later. It's an interesting thing about a decade. I was thinking about it, when I was growing up, my granddad told me that, the days might go by slow, but be careful because the years go by fast. Holy moly, the decades go by faster. 2.5 decades. It's incredible. My second stint here was absolutely wonderful. I don't know what got me involved with Associated Student Body Government, but I'm glad I did. I learned a lot. It was in 95 where we approved partial self-funding of the new student union. I wandered around there today, just incredible. So many things have changed in the last 25 years. It's quite amazing. So,
well, that's fantastic. What memories do you have of being on campus? Any favorite memory that you want to share?
Well, Dr. Foxworthy was just talking about putting computers on faculty desks. I was a student help at that time, putting the computers on the desk, and I now own a computer company. So I think there's probably a pretty good correlation right there. I did a lot of business classes here, a lot of great stuff. ASBG was a lot of fun. We addressed a bunch of stuff on campus that needed to be addressed. Got the student union going. It was...
So tell everybody now, so you say you own a computer company. Tell us about your family, where you're living.
Now we live in Tehachapi, which is about 2.5-hour drive, 3-hour drive, kind of northwest or northeast from here. Had the company now for 18 years. My foundation started here at Hancock. I learned so much at student body government. The whole process of putting together the student union, working with Dr. Foxworthy, working with Betty Miller, learning that whole process, I think, is incredible. I did my business classes. I walked around campus today. I remember where my business classes was. I remember where my horrible English classes was. I wasn't that good. I was a math guy, but the campus has grown immensely. It's just incredible. Very, very incredible.
The community, just like Dr. Foxworthy said, the community support to build what you see today in our campus is a reflection of how important this institution is for northern Santa Barbara County, and especially for Santa Maria and Lompoc.
Yeah.
So, well, good. Well, thanks for being here, and we'll ask you to come back out and answer some questions in a moment.
Perfect.
And
thank you for having me.
Thank you, Daryl. So next up we have Roger Hall, who actually started working here in 1996, but is our historian of record here on campus. And Roger wanted to share with us some of these brochures for our career technical education from back in the day. You think about the things that our campus graphics does today and the amount of work that had to go into these back in the 90s to do offset printing, beautiful brochures, and today our campus graphics department is doing this kind of work for nonprofits all over our community. So, Roger, why don't you share with us your thoughts about the last 25 years?
Yeah, well, thanks, Dr. Walthers. I first of all want to say thank you for having me part of it. Since I teach history, it's nice to be part of history occasionally. Absolutely, campus graphics has always done a good job. I was hired, though, in 1996, so I just missed the burying of this time capsule. But the thing that struck me in looking at some of the artifacts that people have talked about is how much of it is paper-based, how much of it was really churning out tests and syllabus and all kinds of job advertisements. That's, of course, how I heard about this job, and how so much of that technology has changed in the last 25 years. And as has been mentioned by both your speakers, how we didn't have computers on the desks, and what I was just thinking with Dr. Foxworthy, what it would have been like in 1995 to try and make an adjustment to our current situation. But, the college is about people, and I always think the word that is most important in the name is the community college, and because that's really what it's about. And what I think I like, I love to teach history, I like to talk, but it's really about engaging students in the process of learning, and whatever the technology, whether it's paper or now it's online. I have students doing Zoom homework right now as we talk. The mission of trying to get people to where they want to be, that I think is the great joy of this whole process, and being part of this college and being part of this community on the Central Coast. I started a community college in Maryland. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I'm so typical of a lot of our students. Education really made me into what I've been able to do, and we see a lot of that success throughout all these years. So in that little capsule, there's a few memories, but just think of how many stories of achievement and pride and success that people have had over this 100 years that the college has been here.
Well, this is fantastic, and there's so many names that I can think of that recently retired, or even faculty who've been here on campus. Mm-hmm. Chris, we had one faculty member just retire after 49 years.
Yeah,
half of the college's life essentially right here on campus, and it's truly a wonderful place. And this is a community that supports the icons of the community. With the Joe White Gym gallery named after Dr. Foxworthy, and the work of Nat Fast, and all of these icons of our community that really impacted the community from right here at Allen Hancock College. So we're fortunate to have those, and Roger, we're fortunate to have you here as a history teacher, and we're fortunate to have a faculty that have really turned the way. We've switched over 70% of our courses from face-to-face to online on Zoom. It's a testament to our faculty for being willing to do what it takes to serve our students, and for our staff that are working from home or are coming in and working on rotating shifts to make sure that our students have access to the type of things they need to be successful. So, why don't you stay here and slide to your end, and we'll invite Daryl and Ann to come back out, and we'll slide and stand at the opposite ends of our 6-foot tables. I'm pretty sure in our next time capsule we'll have some masks and some hand sanitizer and such things. Yeah. So John Hooten has been collecting some questions and comments for our panel to reflect on. So John, if you want to share a couple of those.
Well, the big question is, was that all that's in there?
Oh, well, let's see. We have old newspapers. This one quotes Marion Quaid. Either the students couldn't spell Mataliati or she wasn't married yet. She told me she wasn't married yet at that time. This is the new one for the Lompoc Center. This one talks about football for its first bowl game in over 30 years. We have one in here about the rodeo club from back in the day. We've restored that. And then, of course, we have a 75th birthday party here with some great pictures of folks that you might recognize. Oh, there's another oracle. We have an old-school coffee mug. I swear they gave me one of these when they hired me 8 years ago. So, some pens and...
something to be said for continuity.
and a pen. John tells me this pen doesn't work anymore. He tried. So, let's see. We have Hancock College.
That was our anniversary cake.
Yeah. And let's see. We have, this is from the old BICA, which is now Skills USA. So when you think about our Skills USA team, and you go back 25 years, they were doing some of those same things back then, and really demonstrating how our students could really make an impact. So we were winning awards back then, and our Skills USA team is winning awards today. There's one more item in there I think is probably not very useful. We'll see later if we can get some use out of that, and we'll answer some questions.
All right, from Caleb, how's looking at these items make you feel, seeing them 25 years ago and seeing them again today?
We'll start with you, Dr. Foxworthy, and then we'll have Daryl.
Well, it was interesting when I knew the capsule was being opened. It was like, I didn't know exactly remember what all had been put in there. I thought the newspapers would be appropriate and what was important. I know at the time we thought it was really a fun idea. And just to capture that moment, okay, it's just that slice, 1995, that's what interested me, and to look at the photos. Don't you always like to do that? You look back and look at the people and oh, I remember so-and-so. Yeah. That was the fun of reliving that time.
Daryl?
For me, it was incredible because over the years I had stopped by probably 3 or 4 times, 5 times to see when that time capsule was going to come undone. When I was asked what I wanted to talk about, I couldn't remember what was in there. And just seeing the old pictures, remembering some of the old staff, remembering the teachers that were here, the instructors that were here, and some of the other ASBG members and stuff that we did on campus. I mean, over the last week or so, I've had just a pretty good reminiscence from about 25 years ago. So it's incredible, I think. Thank you.
Great. What else, John?
For Daryl, what were the big student issues you were working on in 1995?
Well, I know for me the biggest issue, as I alluded to before, was the student union. That was a really, I mean, we got all the students involved with that. At the time, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the college was going through some really strong financial problems. So how do we fund it? How do we get this figured out? What do we do? How do we... That was our biggest issue, I think, at the time. Some of the other things, of course, membership was down. It was like trying to figure out how to get students to get involved. Of course, that's very hard. But we had a very, if I remember correctly, I think when we left, we had like 50 or 60 people involved with student government at that time. Where we started was less than 12. Wow. So, I mean, we really got the campus together. Dr. Bird was back at the time. We talked about issues where we got some stuff in the science lab. We got some stuff in the math and in the math labs that we needed. So, for me, that was the issues.
Great.
2 more questions. Dr. Walthers, what do you want the school to look like in 25 years from now?
You know, in 25 years, I want us to look like, I got to think how to say that. So I want our students to be completing. We've done really well with access. Community colleges historically have done well with access. Our new Promise program has expanded opportunities for our local community. We are able to go out and tell students in our community that it's free, and their parents understand that. We don't have to translate a FAFSA application explanation to those parents. We've seen that grow through the Promise program of our local high school students. We need to do a little better job of reaching out to working families so that we can have some evening programs for them. But I think when we start to see our community our students completing their courses at even higher levels, and we're on that trajectory. We had 1,301 individuals graduate with a degree this year, by far the highest it's ever been. And that to me indicates that we're a college moving in the right direction. And I think we're going to see nothing but growth, and that's going to support the entire community.
That last question was from Rebecca Caraway. Last question from Paola Hernandez. Will there be another time capsule?
So we will. We're going to have, and in fact, we've actually been talking about the idea of making several of them that can be open like every 20 years or every 25 years, so that people in the future can take over this fun time. I won't be here in 20. I might be in the time capsule when 20 years. So, but I tell you, this is we're going to go around and have each of you say one more thing. I'll start off by echoing what Dr. Foxworthy says. It's an honor to get to serve this community and serve this college. and work with the colleagues that we have here. This is a student-centered college, and it's great to see our community acknowledging the wonderful work that our faculty and staff do every single day to change the odds for our students. So that's my takeaway from today.
As president, I think the most meaningful activity was graduation.
Yeah.
And each year, I would ask, actually, the foundation and admissions and records to give me some statistics on the students who were graduating, and from the foundation, some of their stories. And it was the stories of those students, how they persevered, they overcame all these obstacles in order to graduate. I just had no idea how significant, or maybe I just needed to be reminded, I don't think so, but every year reminded what important work we do.
Right. That's right. Daryl?
Well, I want to thank you for that important work. I came here twice, and coming back as in your late 20s, going back to a community college was like, well, what are you doing? I wouldn't have the business I have today. I wouldn't have the family I had today if it wasn't for that second stop here at Hancock. So it's amazing, we're 100 years now. I am just a little blip in that 100 years. Imagine all the other people,
Yes.
staff and the foundation, everybody else has taken. So thank you guys for that.
Thanks, Daryl. Roger?
Well, I think it's the inclusiveness that we want to keep aspiring to. And, new buildings are important to better serve the particularly technical needs of students. Beautification is important. Dr. Foxworthy gets a lot of credit for making this campus more attractive. The groundskeeping, the maintenance people, they do a terrific job in running it. And the point is to make it a welcoming place, to make it an attractive place. And someday we'll be back on campus. Technology will keep going. And what I would hope is that it will bring in more and more people, as Dr. Walthers said, people that are still on the fringes of education. Still, only about half the population will ever take a college class, and there's always more we can bring in, and it is great to be a part of it. And you don't hear a lot of your students after they leave, but occasionally some come back or at graduation, and the struggles they went through make it well worth what we do. So I look forward to the next 25 years. I may not be here as well, but I might join you in the capsule.
Great. Well, thank you all for being here. It's been a great afternoon. Whoever's here, we'll give you guys a round of applause.
Thank you.
We have one last thing in the bucket, and I don't know what we're going to do with this. I used to have a machine that would play one of these. I don't know. I'm going to give it to Brian Dill and see maybe Brian Dill can... You got a VCR back there? Oh, yeah. Brian Dill, of course, Brian Dill has a VCR back there. So we're going to see what that's got on it.
Do you want to be a welder? Get the training you need in the Tri-County's most comprehensive welding program. In 1 to 4 semesters at Allen Hancock College, you will learn the basic skills you need to work in the field of welding, including TIG, MIG, oxyacetylene, metal arc, and other welding processes. Jobs are waiting. Student financial aid is available. Call today and begin your future
Oh, no,
at
it was
Allen
built
Hancock
way before
College.
then.
Register by mail through December
72.
21.
Excuse me, I was thinking 92. That might be a route right.
The auto body repair industry offers steady work and good
just after I
wages.
came in
With 1 to 4
92,
semesters
we
at Allen
dedicated
Hancock
the
College, you
Severson
can repair your own
theater,
vehicle
so
while
that
you
was
learn the
added
skills
on
needed
that.
for a successful career in auto body repair. Body and frame construction, surface preparation, paint process, and more are covered in the comprehensive program. Jobs are waiting. Student financial aid is available. Begin your future today at Allen Hancock College.
Register by mail through December 21.
What have you got there?
Oh, these are just masks. I was going to give one to that guy. We're ready? Oh, we're back. Live TV's hard. Well, we want to say thank you Thank you, Brian, for having a VCR. I don't really know who does that, but also thanks to Al Garcia for helping out with the video. Thanks to Jeff Allen and PCPA for helping us with the setup. Kevin Boland's here taking some pictures. The public affairs staff and the Centennial Committee that have been working on this have just been absolutely tremendous. We're kicking this off, and what you're going to see in the community coming up is the new push for the Promise campaign. In just a couple of years, we've raised $3.5 million for Promise. Our goal ultimately is $10 million, and we're out in the community working so that at the end of the year we can come back and talk about the changes we're making. Because Dr. Foxworthy said, our students overcome a lot of obstacles, and we celebrate those students that overcome those obstacles, but what we really need to be doing is removing those obstacles to begin with. That's what the Promise program does. Changes the odds for our students. It changes the odds for our community, and it's making a huge difference in what we do. So be ready for a great year, and we had somebody here in the audience who was sharing a memory with us, and then we know there's a lot of folks out there who have memories. Email those to Lauren Milborn in the Public Affairs Office, or email them to me. We're doing a podcast. We're going to do a lot of conversations with people throughout the year and just have some oral histories of what's going on and what went on in the past on campus. And we're calling as many people as we can, but don't be shy, because we're going to miss somebody. And if you've got a short story, we would love to hear it, and we want to put all that together. We're going to have some video conversations as well. Some of that will be similar to this. We'll set up some video conversations. And then at the end of the year, we're going to have a finale. We don't know exactly what yet. We don't know what we can do. It probably won't be the gala. I've still got a picture of us dancing at the last gala. But we're going to have something at the end of the year. And then as we proved last month, we can hold a commencement ceremony. And if we have to do a drive-through again, we'll do a drive-through again. That was such a huge moment for our families and for our students. But we will have the 100th commencement in May for our students that are graduating. So thank you for joining us today, and we're looking forward to the next 100 years, and we really think that things are going to be great. Stay safe out there, wear your masks, and keep your social distance, and we'll get through this a lot quicker. Thank you.